The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has reverberated across the globe, exposing deep divisions and anxieties within the international community. The invasion, launched by Russia in early 2022, has been met with widespread condemnation from Western nations, leading to unprecedented sanctions and a reassessment of global security architectures. However, not all nations have adopted the same stance towards the conflict. China and Taiwan, two East Asian powers with their own complex history and geopolitical considerations, offer contrasting perspectives on the war in Ukraine. These differing viewpoints reflect not only their unique relationships with Russia and the West, but also their anxieties and aspirations in a rapidly changing global order. China, with its close ties to Russia and its own ambitions for territorial unification with Taiwan, views the conflict through a different lens. Meanwhile, Taiwan, facing increasing military pressure from Beijing, sees unsettling parallels between its own situation and the plight of Ukraine. The war has thus become a focal point for understanding the diverging perspectives and anxieties of these two East Asian neighbors. Their responses to the crisis, shaped by historical experiences, geopolitical calculations, and domestic anxieties, offer a glimpse into the challenges of navigating a multipolar world marked by shifting alliances and heightened uncertainties. This essay delves into the contrasting perspectives of China and Taiwan on the Ukraine war, examining their underlying motivations and the implications for regional and global stability. China's response to the Ukraine conflict has been characterized by a delicate balancing act. On the one hand, Beijing has refrained from explicitly endorsing Russia's invasion and has called for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. This stance reflects China's desire to maintain its image as a responsible global actor and avoid potential economic and diplomatic repercussions. On the other hand, China has consistently refused to condemn Russia's actions, abstaining from UN resolutions criticizing the invasion and echoing Moscow's narrative blaming NATO expansion for the crisis. This seemingly contradictory approach stems from China's strategic calculus and its increasingly close relationship with Russia. In recent years, Beijing and Moscow have forged a strong partnership, driven by shared geopolitical interests and a common desire to challenge the US-led world order. This partnership has manifested in increased economic cooperation, joint military exercises, and a united front against what they perceive as Western interference in their respective regions. China's support for Russia, however, extends beyond mere rhetoric. Beijing has provided Moscow with economic lifelines, boosting bilateral trade and offering alternative payment systems to circumvent Western sanctions. Chinese state media has also amplified Russian propaganda, disseminating disinformation and downplaying atrocities committed in Ukraine. While China may not condone all of Russia's actions, it clearly sees a strategic imperative in maintaining close ties with Moscow. In stark contrast to China's cautious but supportive stance, Taiwan has emerged as one of the most vocal critics of Russia's invasion. Taipei has condemned the aggression in no uncertain terms, joined international sanctions against Moscow, and provided humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. This unwavering support for Ukraine stems from Taiwan's own precarious geopolitical situation and its deep-seated fears of Chinese aggression. Taiwan, a self-governing island that Beijing claims as its own territory, has long lived under the shadow of Chinese military might. The spectre of a potential Chinese invasion, while always present, has taken on a renewed urgency in light of Russia's actions in Ukraine. Many in Taiwan see unsettling parallels between their situation and that of Ukraine, with both being democratic entities facing the threat of military action from larger authoritarian neighbors. Russia's invasion has fueled anxieties in Taiwan that China might be emboldened by Moscow's actions and attempt a similar move against the island. This has led to calls for increased defense spending, enhanced military preparedness, and a strengthening of international partnerships to deter Chinese aggression. The contrasting responses of China and Taiwan to the Ukraine war underscore the complex geopolitical landscape of the 21st century. The conflict has exacerbated existing divisions between the West and Russia, with China emerging as a key player in this new global order. Beijing's tacit support for Moscow and its criticism of NATO expansion signal a shift away from the US-led international system and towards a more multipolar world where power is distributed among several key players. This shifting geopolitical landscape has profound implications for global stability and security. The war in Ukraine has already had a destabilizing effect on Europe and beyond, disrupting global supply chains, fueling inflation, and raising the specter of nuclear conflict. China's growing assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific region, coupled with its deepening alliance with Russia, further complicates the situation. The war has also exposed the limitations of international institutions and the challenges of maintaining a rules-based international order in an increasingly multipolar world. The UN Security Council, paralyzed by Russia's veto power, has proven ineffective in addressing the crisis, while NATO's eastward expansion has been blamed by some for contributing to the tensions that led to the conflict. The Ukraine war serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the need for effective international cooperation to address global challenges.